What's up, everybody? Golden Air Collector here with another video, and in this one what I'm going to do is go over the differences between OG shoes and reissues, if there are some, and just talk about that. I had a guy named Alex hit me up in one of the comments on the last video and said he wanted to see that, and that's a pretty good idea, so I figured why not go ahead and knock that out. We got the true OG reissues and then slim versions, all the stuff, and we'll just go over all that, but we'll go ahead and dive into that. Alright, so the first shoe that I chose to go over is my favorite one, the Kahless Og. One of my favorite shoes, just great design. I wear it all the time, but there's a lot of different iterations as well. Like we have the true OG, we have the OG reissue, and then some modified versions that I'm gonna go over. But we'll start with this right here. This is the OG, the original one. Soles are already busting in on their sole, thick as hell, just like how I like my women. But I like this shoe, great design. Kahless killed it with this one. I remember him saying that he wanted a shoe that was like pretty much the Lynx as his first shoe, which still probably would have been sick, but I'm glad he came out with this as his first shoe because this is a banger and it's one of my favorite shoes. I didn't have these when I was growing up, and now I am 31 years old and I have a lot of them, so life's great. But the first one is this. This is the reissue, the truest one. This Kahless Og reissue actually does have a few differences. One of them being is the tongue and the collar is a little thinner than the OG, which of course they have to do because not a lot of people are into really fat shoes anymore. And I myself, I'm not just like a fat shoe connoisseur, which a lot of people kind of assume. I just like good shoe design. I mean, look at this. They could slim this down, I'd still love this shoe. They did it with the Kahless Light, I still loved it. They did slim this down just a tad, and I think it was a good idea. I mean, it came out great. The tongue's not too thick. It's a little thinner than the OG one. But other than that, everything is pretty much true. I mean, the soles look the same. Everything's the same. Paneling's all the same. Logo placements, all that. Everything is the same on these two. The only thing is this was slimmed down just a little bit to kind of meet today's standards a little better. And they knocked it out of the park. And they did a good job with it. One other thing, though, that I want to go over, which a lot of companies are skimping out on nowadays, is this insole. I can't take it out, but the insole in these is completely a flat insole. But in a lot of the older shoes, they had contoured insoles that fit around your foot better. Might not help, I don't know. I never really noticed the difference between the two, but it just seems better. Like, I mean, look at that arch support in there. I like that. Nice little touch. And the new ones, they just have a little thin piece of foam in there. Still does the job though. That's the only reissues of these, other than these altered ones like this. You have the Beams Kahless collaboration, and this one's a kind of odd one because it's got two tongues in it. So if you don't like the slim tongue, get these. You got two of them. You got a slim one and then a thick one. This one stayed true to the design overall. I mean, paneling, sole, all that's still the same, but they did a little different by putting two tongues in there. That's Beams I did. They never came like this originally. A lot of people were asking me, I don't know why, because God, no, Kahless wouldn't put two tongues in a shoe. Yeah, so this came out. And my pair that I wear, I cut that other tongue out because it's annoying. I hate it. But they got different changes, like little stripes going up and down on the sides instead of dead center and whatnot. And of course, the obvious, it's got Beams logos on it. But yeah, this one also pretty true, but it has been modified. It's not strictly just true to the OG design. And also, to go with that, is this Butter Goods collab. This one's pretty much true. I mean, obviously you can tell, but they changed things, little details. A lot of people might not notice. Lace loops right here, they're not integrated with that panel like how they are normally. Also, a little pull tab on the heel. They don't have that on the OGs. They just have this little bitty guy right here. But with these, they added that pull tab. I think that was a nice touch. I mean, honestly, that's always like pull tabs, and that kind of helped this shoe. I like the way that is. But this one came out good. And I got that faded material, which is pretty fucking sick. And this is all the differences between these. Pretty much with the Kahless OGs, everything's the same, except for just small detail changes like this. This one's a little bit thinner than the original. And then you got the modified ones, which they just go through and change a few little bits on it. But that's enough of those. We'll get on to the next one. Next shoe we got is going to be these Lynx. Now, I don't have the original Brian Winning links like this. This is a reissue of it. People ask way too much money for it, so can't include that in the video. Sorry guys, I'm fucking broke. But I have this that will do. Now with these links, they're a little bit different than a regular one, being as they have mesh materials. When links first came out, it was solid suede all around, and then it went out for a few years, I believe, and then it came back with these mesh panels. I like the mesh better, a lot of people do, but I have my appreciations for the suede. But with these both have mesh in them. This is the only OG links I have. I had a pair, but I sent them away to somebody else, and so this one I have to do. But both of these are the mesh paneled ones, so we can kind of go over the differences a lot better with these two. This right here being the OG, one thing that I hate about the reissues is the pull tab. It's a little bitty guy, little bitty tiny thing right here, much like my private parts. And then you have this one, which is tall. I like that. I like the tall pull tab. I love pull tabs on shoes. If I was a shoe designer, every single shoe I make would have pull tabs on them. Just one of the features I really love about some. But other than that, you know, there's a few little differences. There's been a bit of confusion with the links reissues. One of the things is the soles look platformy compared to the originals. And a lot of people say they are, a lot of people say they aren't, and then arguments start. But one thing I have noticed is that the back is true. I mean, it's thick like that. I mean, just how it is. But with the OGs, it slims down as it gets around to the toe. As you can tell, this little part right here is a lot slimmer than the actual heel. On these reissues, it's not. It's the same all the way around. So it is a tad bit thicker up there, which kind of works, kind of doesn't. I prefer like this, true to the OG. Now, whenever they first came out with the links reissue, I was hoping they would start doing the mesh ones, and they finally did. But one thing that kind of sucks is the way that they executed this is different than how the OG was. With the OG, you have a mesh panel, then you have this separate piece of material that holds the lace loops themselves in place, and that's just a nice little detail change. Like that right there, I like the way this is. It looks better quality. And then you have this, where it's just almost one panel, pretty much, the whole thing. I mean, it's a separate little panel right here, but I mean, it's kind of weird. It looks weird seeing the mesh cut off on the sides and stuff. I don't like that. I haven't skated a mesh pair of these yet, but I would assume this isn't going to hold up too well, as usually the first lace loops I blow out are these two. And that's the only differences. The thickness is all the same on the OG links versus these. The rear pull tab is the same. Has the little vents in it like the OGs did. And pretty much everything is the same. But the only thing is this little panel right here, a little different. And the thickness of that sole. That is different. And I just got these in and was able to actually fully compare the difference between the soles. This is a smaller size, so you got to kind of take that into consideration. You can tell the difference. I mean, this one, it slants down. It gets thinner as it goes down, whereas the OG does not. It stays thick all the way around. So it's just one little detail change in it. Overall, a good looking shoe though, still. I love it. I'm glad these came back. These are my second favorite compared to the Kahless. But we'll get to the next shoe now. So went ahead and switched up the brands on this one. We got some S shoes here. S also does some reissues, which all you guys know, they have been kind of lacking some. One thing that did the first reissue, which I'm not going to go over here because there's a ton of videos about the differences between the two, is the XL OG versus the reissue that they did, which everybody pretty much agrees it's all the same. The toe panel is, or the toe box is a little bit shorter on the reissue. That's the only difference, so I didn't bother digging it out. But with this, we have the SLB mid. And this one's a good shoe to go over because there's some huge differences. Mostly the size. They tried. I mean, this shoe, when it came out, I liked it. But also, that was just because we didn't have anything really. I mean, we had the Kalos Light at the time, and the XL OG, and then this. And I never owned a SLB Mid 4, and I always wanted a pair. And so when this came out, I was able to just buy it straight up, and I like that. So I bought a bunch of these, wore them around a bit, did not like them that much. Just because, I mean, the obvious, it's a thin shoe. This sole, you're pretty much walking on an insole, and that's about it. You feel everything. You step on a crack, you feel that crack. You step on a pebble, you feel the pebble. And that's the one thing I always hated about these. And a lot of people already know, you see comments everywhere, people complaining about S kind of having like thin soles and whatnot, and creating that problem. And It's true. It's there. It sucks. I like the fact, you know, I mean, it came out nice that they slimmed it down. There's little things when they did that, like this tongue, it's just flimsy. Like, what the fuck? That sucks. Like the OG, you have a nice, better tongue. It's thicker, which is good for me, but like the sock liner, I mean, look at this sock liner. This thing is thin. This is nice. I like this sock liner better than I like the OG sock liner. Because I always like the thinner little sock liners like this. But with the OG SLB, it was thicker. Which is cool, because I mean, back then, you know, thick shoes were the thing. And this kind of helped give it a little bit more thickness. I mean, the shoe's already thick as is, but this kind of exaggerated it a little bit. As you can tell, it's kind of falling apart in here. Yeah, the tongue wasn't really that thick on these. I like these. I wish they made them exactly like this, because this shoe is sick. I mean, even with it being poofier and whatnot, it's still amazing. It's better than its counterpart Reissue. The tooling on it, shaping is a little different. You have a longer toe panel. It's shorter in height. It's not even a mid. I don't think you could technically call this a mid. They do, but this is pretty much a low top shoe. Like, there's no height to it at all. Versus this. This thick, big boy. But that's it for the S. I mean, everybody already knows their reissues aren't going so well. They're finally starting to do some better ones, like that Tribo that I showed you guys in the other video that's coming out. So maybe they'll get back on track and start banging out some heaters like they used to. Because S has an archive of great shoes. If they would just dive into it and start bringing those back out, they could flourish. Instead of doing this. This is like a restaurant napkin. What the fuck? But yeah, let's get on to the next one. So the next shoe that I'm pulling out, I know you guys are going to flame me for it. Don't hate yet though, so quick. Just hear me out. It's another company, not DC, not S. A loved company by many. The Osiris T3. Look at this bad boy. Fucking tank. I know a lot of you guys hate this shoe. I mean, the obvious. It's fucking crazy. But this shoe actually is pretty nuts if you actually sit down and look at it. Which is one of the reasons I love it. Like, because like I said, I'm not just like a fat shoe lover or none of that weird shit. I just like designs and shit. And this one is crazy. Like, the amount of detail in this shoe blows my mind, even just looking at it today. And I couldn't find my OG one. It's buried somewhere in the midst of all of this shit. This is pretty much one-to-one, which is nuts to me because this shoe has so many details in it, and it's crazy that they went through and did everything the exact same. And so I gotta give my props to Osiris for that. I mean, in a world of crazy, rave, dumb colorway shoes, they brought this back, which, I mean, it's obviously, like, it's also a crazy rave shoe now. Nobody really skated these. The original D3 was a lot better. The shoe is nuts. I mean, if you ever sit down and look at this at your local skate shop or whatever, or if you have a pair, just look at the detail. I mean, it's insane. There's a lot of stuff going on in this shoe, and it's tight. Like, you gotta appreciate that, even if it is a hideous shoe. And like I said, this is pretty much one-to-one. I mean, I never really noticed anything different about it. If you did, comment, let me know. But me personally, I don't see anything different from the original. And that's a good thing. I mean, Osiris makes the weirdest shoe, but they take the time and effort to make it exactly like the original one. Gotta give them props for that. I mean, yeah, it's hideous. I would never wear this, but I always thought these were crazy when they first came out, and I wanted a pair just because of how crazy it was. I was broke and only had hand-me-downs most of the time. Couldn't afford to get a pair, which if I could afford to get a pair, I probably wouldn't have bought a pair. But still, I mean, I always wanted a pair and I got them, and it's crazy. The detail on these is immense. I mean, there's so much shit to go over that. I mean, full air pocket all the way around. That let alone is nuts. You can barely get companies to do one little air pocket in a reissue these days. I'm gonna point out just some of the crazy details, like just look at all this shit right here. You're looking at like 10 different panels in one fucking inch area. Like, that's fucking nuts. Mesh, plastic, whatever the fuck that is, nubuck. I don't know what the fuck that is. Rubber, plastic, fucking, dude, that's fucking crazy. Air pockets for days everywhere. Look at the fucking tongue. Look at that fucking logo. How tight is that? It's fucking sick. A little fucking vent here for no damn fucking reason. Lace loop right here. A little extra fucking detail. Just added in for no reason. I didn't use it, but that shit's fucking crazy. Look at this panel. You got like an elephant print. material, and then this like heat stamped onto it, rubber right there. That's wild. You can flame this shoe all you want, but you gotta give them props. They actually brought this thing back true to the exact spec. Don't fucking hate on me. I know it's coming already. I do love this though. It's tight. But I'm gonna put that aside. That's not really part of the video. The next shoe I want to get into is this DC Stevie Williams. So let me go ahead and get those popping. So we got the Stevie Williams here. This is the OG shoe right here. Great one. I love these. I don't love how they look on me, but I love how they look. I mean, I had this one, had two pairs of these, the exact same colorway, skated one and rocked one, and then once I got another shoe, skated the second pair. This was a great shoe. I mean, this thing right here, foam, grips, kills it. I love it. Materials they made, or materials they use, were good materials, and this shoe is good to skate. I still skate the OG Williams that I do have, because I like it. I haven't skated the reissues yet. Going over the differences, this right here is a true reissue of the OG, and there's just some small changes, very small. I mean, this one's pretty much true to the original, but there's little details like the shape of this toe right here, which is something I've noticed. You might not have, you might have, I don't know, but with the reissue, this toe swoops back automatically versus how the OG one actually comes up and then goes back. And it's just a better look. It's kind of a little bit bulkier versus being this little streamlined, slick back right there. My only issue that I don't really like is the shape of this tongue. It's thick, and I think it might be thicker. Yeah, it's thicker than the original, but this one's like a brick pretty much. It's not shaped the same. It's kind of off. It's weird. And with the OG, there's some little details like this is narrower and then gets wide versus being wide up here and then barely getting a little bit wider. And that's the one flaw that I don't like about the reissue. I love Stevie Williams, one of my favorite skaters. Who can't love Stevie Williams? I mean, that dude's amazing. Wrecking Ball might be the only person that don't love him, but he kills it. I mean, his style is just impeccable. I mean, Stevie Williams could just do switch heel flips all day, and I'd watch that all day long. He's amazing. I love that dude. Pretty much true, just this shape of the toe, the shape of the tongue. The only things that I don't really care for, and it's the only differences, just has a great shape to it. I mean, they knocked it out of the park with this one. But whenever they do reissue shoes like this, it's hard to retool and reshape it to the exact same way because you're starting from scratch. They don't have all the molds and everything they had when they made that one. And to redo it and make it come out exactly the same is tough, and I get it. And then we also have this. Obviously, it's a little bit different. It's a modified version of it. They used the entire lower section and everything and upper, but the only thing they changed was this sock liner thing that, in my opinion, is kind of hideous. I hate it. This is a Rocket 1 collaboration with DC, and a cool shoe. I mean, it's got ice soles. I like ice soles. I don't know why. They're just fucking tight. But the material they use on these is awesome as well. And I love this colorway. They did do things like the laces are different also, but they do have a normal set of laces that come with them in the box. I don't have them on me right now, but they do have them. You know, obviously they got their logos on here as well. That's another difference between it. The shape is like the OG. Of course, you know, it's still got that like slanted right there instead of being kind of bulkier. It's all the same. The only thing they did was the liner and the tongue and these laces and their logos. I mean, which sounds like a lot now I'm saying that, but it's not. This liner has to go though. I hate this thing. Alright, and the last shoe we're going to go over today is going to be this Legacy. This was, I think, the first true reissue DC did with some minor changes. But yeah, this was the first like OG reissue that DC got into. And a lot of people hated their choice on this being the first one. I personally love it. I fucking love this shoe. It's sick. Yeah, this one came out of the gate with Dime, MTL, whatever that is. But they're out of Canada. Awesome, awesome people. They collaborated with DC to make this. I never heard of Dime before that because I'm not really like a fashion type person or whatnot. And they're kind of more on that end, in my opinion. They're a skate shop up there. They collaborated, made this shoe, came out great. And I want to go over the details on this versus the OG. There's a few little small changes in it. This is my favorite shoe. I try not to wear it too much because I want to preserve it. I bought extra pairs of skate, but then I don't even want to skate it because I'm afraid that I don't want to ruin it. I fucking love this shoe. I want to have multiple pairs forever to wear. One of the things right out the gate that I noticed when I got mine in was the laces. They're a little thinner. I mean, you got a thicker OG DC lace, and then you have this little thin one. When I first got them, I just swapped the laces out with some extra OG ones that I had, just to make it more legit. Everything's pretty much where it's supposed to be at. All the paneling's the same and whatnot. There's just some little detail differences like this. You have this carbon fiber looking material going all the way down and then stops and then it's suede, which I don't know why they did that. But on these, they did it how they should have did it the first time around, which is kept that material going all the way around. And that was a good touch. It's a change, but for the better, in my opinion. One of the biggest changes is the logo. You know, that did the Dime Shoe Co. MTL instead of the normal DC Shoe Co. USA right there. And they have DC here, but then they have Dime on the back. One of my favorite things, this is the reason I love the Legacy so much, is these pull tabs that they use. This is so sick. It's a little clear piece of plastic with some, I don't know what you call that, rope, string, whatever, inside. But like on the heel, it says DC Shoe Co. USA all the way around it, and it's clear with that little material inside. That's crazy. I like that. I've never ever seen anything like that besides on these, and that's tight. But on these reissues, they did the heel one like too close to the actual heel. It doesn't poke out like how the OG did, which I like because it keeps your pants from falling over unless you wear really baggy pants. But like this, you can tell that bad boy is sticking out. I like that. On the tongue, the OG is low, it's small. And they did a bigger one on this, which is better, in my opinion. If they could do like a hybrid where it's a big one up front and a big one in the back, I'd be psyched. I mean, I'm psyched anyways. Everything on these is pretty much the same. The thickness of the shoe is pretty much spot on with this and the reissue. They did everything, sole, all that stuff, all pretty much the same. I mean, they killed it. This is almost a one-to-one reissue. I mean, this is pretty damn spot on. Wanted to end with this one because this is my one of my favorite shoes right here. Dime DC killed it with this. I love this shoe. My favorite colorway, everything. That pretty much sums it up for all of these. This is all the shoes that I had on hand that I could go over and show you the differences between. If you're older like me, or some older, I guess, you'll notice these differences because you were around whenever the originals were out. A lot of you guys that are getting into this stuff are younger and don't know about the originals, and so this video will kind of help you with that. Hope you see the differences. So we're at that part, I gotta say it. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Show me some love. I really do appreciate it. I want to say thanks, Alex, man, for the suggestion. It was a great idea to go over this. I didn't really think about it at the time, but it is a good video and a good suggestion. So if you guys have any other suggestions like that, just let us know in the comments like Alex did. Thanks again, guys, for all the love, man. Honestly, this is taking off better than I thought it would. And it's people like you guys watching right now. They're making me do this more and more. I'm awkward with this shit, so I'm trying to get better at it. But I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
Yeah, they need to remake those chocolate collab shoes.
Oh, fuck you.
Come on, man.
You should have mentioned that in the video.